Welcome to the Sanctuary Podcast, hosted by Angel Deer. In this podcast, we explore the mysteries of spirituality and consciousness. In each episode, we dive deep into the realms of human experiences, our rapidly changing world, and the unseen realms, tapping into the universal wisdom that connects us all. Whether you're a seasoned spiritual seeker, starting to awaken to the possibilities of a more expansive reality, or want support on your journey, this podcast is for you. Join me as we explore topics such as shamanism, spiritual transformation, holistic healing, the medicine path, energy healing, plant medicine, ancient wisdom, and more. Our guests are respected elders and experts in their fields, and we'll learn from their insights and experiences as we journey together on the path of spiritual growth. If you can, please consider supporting this podcast by joining our Patreon page at patreon.com/thesanctuaryny. Once again, it is patreon.com/thesanctuaryny. Now, let's dive into today's episode.
Hey, this is Angel here, Angel Deer. Really good to be with you, and I'm really excited because I just released my first book, The Sacred Web, the magical craft of your sacred shamanic space. It's been a process of writing it and an even more complex process to birth it and to make it available everywhere in the world, but I'm really excited, and you can go on my website and on my Facebook page, Instagram, and you can find the link. So grateful for everyone that already purchased the book. The book is about setting up your sacred space in your home or while you're traveling. It's a short book, but it contains all the wisdom that I believe is essential that can help you. So maybe you're a beginner and you're wondering how to set up a sacred space, what are the characteristics, what are the things that are essentials, and how to incorporate certain elements in it. It's really non-religious, meaning that you can use that just as a spiritual seekers, but also if you are a part of any religion, you can apply it. And for each chapter, I added shamanic perspectives. So from a shamanic practitioner's perspective, what would be the way to set up this sacred space? So I really hope it reach you, and I hope you enjoy it. Please, make good use of it. I think it's a companion for life, and I can tell you, for someone that has been walking and practicing with an altar and a sacred space for so many years now, even when I was writing the book, I realized, oh yes, there is more I can do. There is things that I forgot I could do. So even for me, it was a reminder as I'm reading it today. So now back to today's episode. I was asked by many people often to read the long essay that I write. As you know, I take great joy, and for me, writing is a process of healing and transformation. It really allows me to connect to spirit, to connect to God, to wake up every morning and to just open my heart and to say, use me, write, and just to become vessel. And so today what I want to present to you and read to you is this post I wrote a few weeks ago that is called "This Day is So Precious, You Are Awakening." This day is so precious, you are awakening. So it's a bit different than my usual podcast, and please send me feedback, email me, and let me know if you enjoy such episode, because I would be happy to record more of them. I have a lot of text that I've written over the years, and if you feel that it's supporting you in your practice, that it's opening your heart, that is helping you to dream, to wonder, to heal, to feel better, to be grounded, to feel your soul more close to you, to feel the divine, God, maybe to hear the whispers in your heart, to hear some old secrets. Well, I will keep recording for you then. I will do more of them. So thank you, and enjoy this reading of These Days So Precious. You are awakening. The journey of self-discovery, the shamanic path and its initiations is always the most adventurous, challenging, and exalting one can ever undertake. So often the students in our school join the path in search of meaning, ease, magic, and liberation. Even if some of those might be met on the path, it is too often forgotten. Significant sacrifice and deep, long struggles might be born out of that sacred quest as a necessary purification process of deeply rooted false narratives. These days so precious, you are awakening. For me, without it, I would have probably stuck with and been killed by the violence and conformity of the capitalistic and colonial model of life. I would have stayed in a life too often described as the way our world is, and not met the most daunting and yet essential questions of the soul. There have been so many canyons to cross, often for long years, but I also remember clearly a couple of the tipping points on that journey. One was on stage for the Entrepreneur of the Year Awards in New York City, giving my speech about success and realizing it was all a lie. That version of success, as the mask of external achievements I was wearing, was hiding a deep inner turmoil, unhappiness, unhealthiness, and profound lack of meaning and purpose. I often saw myself as a dying soul in a $2,000 suit in those years. These days so precious, you are awakening. The other tipping point was when I got stuck for 9 hours in a grounded plane due to a snowstorm in New York City, and lost it as my privileged expectation of a platinum American Airlines traveler was not honored. I saw, in the blink of an eye, where this would lead me. A strong tunnel vision showed me in what seems an altered state of consciousness, a version of me in my old age I did not want to become, but would become if I did not change path radically. These days so precious, you are awakening. Both those events and much more unsettling, unavoidable, and loud inner turmoils led me to start the long and often painful inquiry into who I am. Why am I here? What is this life about? What is true happiness? And how to find true meaning in my life? I quickly realized the version of life taught, revered, and praised in our modern world would not lead me where I felt I had to go. Indeed, fear came in. Deep resistance to change arose, and multiple attempts to leave brought me back into more profound discomfort. But at some point, life as it was became unacceptable. A dear Shambhala teacher at the time that I met around those struggles and worked for many years told me, "Angel, you will never truly change until life as it is become unacceptable. Until you still have some kind of deal or contract with your old life." To be honest, I didn't fully understand what he meant, nor what the sacrifice required would be. These days so precious, you are awakening. Decades later, the journey was and is worth it. I can see how the painful layers I had to shed, social connection to change, and new life to be lived were so necessary. Yes, also decades later, the search is still a daily process. Something many forget when meeting authentic teachers. They do not have everything figured out. They are seekers, practitioners of the old ways, constantly assessing, inquiring, and discovering more profound layers of the self to birth and painful ego mask to be shed. So I keep meeting all parts of the self every day. New stories to be confronted. Betrayal and anger in friends I consider safe and trustful. A difficult dance between the dark and the light that is the reality of honest redwood walkers. I often feel love and deep sorrow in the same breath. These days so precious, you are awakening. I can see clearly now that 20 years ago I was living, but I was not truly alive. I made costly soul compromises and poor life choices at the time to avoid the jump into the raging river. As Grandmother Stricker told me a story about, but I will share that another time with you. What I thought had meaning was often a golden prison of fear, shame, self-delusion, and society-expected behaviors that were never mine. Even if the veil keeps clearing, the fog keeps lifting, there are still, to this day, some dark nights, vice places of not knowing, something early seekers on the path often need to expect or understand. These days so precious, you are awakening. What has become clear too is that I could have never dreamed of my life today. Never see my initiation into the shamanic realms. Never hope to create this vision, this prayer of the sanctuary with all it unfolds and nurtures for so many. Never been humbled by such daily work of service. Does it ever become easier? No. Do we get better at it? Sometimes, yes. Is it worth it? Oh, yes. These days so precious, you are awakening. When on a path of self-discovery, we need specific skills that we don't always see as crucial or essential. First, discipline. Immense daily discipline. To return to that prayer, to that vibration, to be self-aware of the many ways we fail ourselves and repeat behaviors we know are not in alignment with what we are calling. This day is so precious, you are awakening. Stamina, as this is a long life path, and there is a necessity to cultivate joy, rest, nourishment, and healthy support to go a long way and not abandon at the bigger step or the more profound triggers. This day is so precious, you are awakening. Wisdom, through the presence of elders who have walked and are still walking this path in authentic and committed ways. I'm really blessed by so many of them those days, and their words, daily reminders, and compassion and support for my life are of utmost value. These days so precious, you are awakening. And love. Love for the self, the world, the land. We will not understand that kind of love by watching romantic comedies. It is a fierce, strong, powerful, loving grandmother love that sometimes will shuffle you around a bit when you are lost. These days so precious, you are awakening. As we start this new year into new realms of internal discovery and understanding of our trauma, our differences, our neurodiversities, and the nature of our dark, wild territories, we are like newborn,
babies, fascinated, curious, and sometimes scared by the grandiosity of the task ahead of us. We have this magic waiting for us deep inside, where we witness the pain of the world and the constant divide and inability to connect that is in permanent display. This day is so precious, you are awakening. It's daunting and exciting, this task, to surrender every morning into the great mystery of life. To set a firm, clear, divinely inspired intention for the day. To continuously tap into the whispers of our soul. To stay aware of the calling of the Creator, saying, this day is so precious, you are awakening. And despite all the waves and windy times, to remain excited by the possibility of co-creation with Spirit, the never-ending great mystery at play, and the infinity of the not knowing in every direction we can look at. So let's keep dreaming and manifesting this sacred ceremony that we call life. Are you up for it? Because you know, this day is really precious. You are awakening.
Thank you for listening to the Sanctuary Podcast. We deeply value your support. Please consider sharing this podcast with others and joining our Patreon page at patreon.com/thesanctuaryny. Once again, it is patreon.com/thesanctuaryny. At The Sanctuary, we believe that spirituality is a personal journey that takes many forms, and we honor and respect all paths to awakening and the rise of consciousness. Our mission is to provide a platform for open and honest conversations about spirituality and to inspire and empower our listeners to live their most authentic lives in good relation to each other's, the living and invisible worlds. I look forward to connecting with you again here or at our events, retreats, and online gatherings. You can find all our offerings at thesanctuaryheal.com. Once again, it is thesanctuaryheal.com.